Yes, hello VC. So if you read the title of this video, a new Grail, 2022, two Grails so far. What is a Grail? Grail is a record that is invisible, that if I want it now, no way. I have to be patient because there's no copies available on Discogs, no copies available on eBay, no copies available on any record store online, and no copy available around where I live. So that is what a Grail is. It's not necessarily about how expensive the record is. It's really about how elusive it is. And the latest one I got is this. Sheb Khaled. Ya Taleb.
édition ديسكو مغرب قدم الشاب خالد
ديسكو مغرب
خاطر رشيد édition افريك فولو وينك العلمة ما نساوش مسعود
édition Afrique Phono
هضر بالي له هذا اليوم السعيد الله في وقتك ايامي هنا هي تجر خوليات خباك المرض اللي بيك هلكينا وهذا اليوم السعيد الله في وقتك ايامي هنا هي تجر خوليات خباك المرض اللي بيك هلكينا بالي طاق عليك نشوفك لو استغفرتني السخيه هنا لما تهول قلبي من ظهرك كان الولايه قلبي بالي طاق عليك نشوفك لو استغفرتني السخيه هنا
Yeah, so I've been interested in Grail now for 4 years or so. I mean, I've always known about Grail. Grail was huge when I was a teenager in France. Yeah, Grail was kind of the pop music, the Schlager of the Maghreb population in France, which bled into pop culture. Sheb Khaled, as he was later known. Sheb means young, and young Khaled. Yeah, Khaled is his name. And usually when you started out your career, you were Sheb or Shiba if you were a woman. And Sheb Khaled became the biggest name of Grail. He had this hit called Didi that was international. I know kids in Sweden who still hum it. It was big in Europe. I don't know if it was if it ever reached the US, Northern America, in a significant way, but it was like a #1 hit. And I hated it. I really, really didn't like it. It was so cheesy. And over the years, as my interest in Middle East Arabic music developed, Middle East Arabic can be two vastly different things. This is Arabic, Maghreb, nothing to do with the Middle East, apart from certain aesthetic tropes. But I don't know how, but like, of course, I got interested in Middle East music from Muslim Gaus and lots of like 80s, like industrial new age stuff from Italy, like weird stuff that had like some appeal and some Middle East qualities in the music. And then I discovered Khaled LP secondhand for nothing, like less than $1 in Sweden, and I thought, I don't know, I'll just listen to it. And that got me to realize how different the rhythm structure is in that kind of music. And also how the early Grail was very, very badly produced, but badly in a good way. Early Grail is quite old music, but the new wave of Rai that started in the late 70s, they started to use synthesizers, as you can hear now, mimicking the instruments, the traditional instruments of Rai, of Maghreb, Northern Africa, traditional music, wedding music, singing music, party music, whatever, and that appealed to me, and I started to dig into that, and now I have like dozens and dozens of cassettes of Rai, but that's not the kind of music that is very common on vinyl. So I thought I'd introduce you, after I got this new Grail of mine. It took me like 2.5 years to find it. And yeah, this will be the first of 10 Rai records that exist on vinyl that I would recommend. And I'll talk a little bit more about why that music is interesting and how it's relevant these days. So an earlier Cheb Khaled with a Anya LP. Let's go. This one is way more traditional. You can hear the fiddle here. I love it. I love fiddle in traditional music. But you got these drum patterns that are quite unique to Rai. It's not like straight. So Zawanya, she is like a goddess of Rai. And this is like a split LP, not a split, like a collaboration. Cheb Khaled puts her forward. So it's a traditional song. It's called Anna Via Taxi Numero, State Cab. And you can hear how rough the recording is. At first I was like, but now that I get really into the music, it's lovely. Usually the LPs of Rai are pretty short. They usually have like between 5 and 7 songs, 8 songs sometimes. Rarely, like 8 songs is usually the max, but usually it's 6 songs. This one is 6 songs. And they often have not the best, the most advanced or research artwork. Usually these records came out on cassette originally. So it was a rare occurrence when one got released in Europe on wax. And they were putting out the cassettes all the time. So there was not that much time for the art design. And most of the time it just got reproduced on the vinyl cover. Les monstres sacrés du Rai, the sacred monsters of Rai, which means in French the absolute gods of Rai. Why is the title in French? While they're singing in Arabic, in Maghrebian, which is a very unique and specific branch of Arabic. It's quite far away from Mecca, where like classical Arabic is from. So you got, you know how it is when a language changes over geography. Hey John. Yeah, Cheb Khaled is from Algeria, but he's also French. A lot of that music after the mid-80s was produced in Europe, like in France, Belgium, but the roots are Tunisia and Algeria, and sometimes Morocco, but mostly Tunisia and Algeria. So there are several artists that claim to be the Prince of Rai. Cheb Mami says so. Cheb Mami, I really don't like his music at all. So there are huge differences aesthetically, both the singing style, the voice, the flow, but also the kind of mood the music has. And Cheb Khaled is speaking to me so perfectly. Here's another Cheb Khaled album. Also terrible artwork, of course. Number one of Rai, the Rai King of Algeria, Cheb Khaled, Hada Raikoum. So this one is Cheb Khaled going obviously for a more synthetic sound, like cheap, you could say. But back then, yeah, they did with what they had. They had to record so much, so fast. Oh, this song I really like. It's called Hadak Ashki Leoul. I believe this means something. Oh, I'm not sure. Usually, Rai is pretty hedonistic. At least the new wave of Rai that all these guys I'm interested in were into. So usually they talk about drinking, partying, having sex, being free. Because these countries were still very religious and no democracy. Usually they were kingdoms, at least Tunisia, but Algeria, yeah, it's a little bit different, but because of the French colonialism, that's also why the titles are in French, because a lot of the audience was in France. So this is, what's funny is that as this came out in the mid-80s, it almost has like a new wave quality. Nowadays, you got people like Omar Suleiman who are so famous because of this kind of keyboard playing that mimics the flute. But yeah, this is so unique aesthetically. And if you also try to dance to it, you'll realize soon enough that the groove is not like a 4/4 thing. But as I was saying, Khaled got really big in the early 90s. He was the biggest selling artist with Nirvana in the early 90s in France. Yeah. And right before that, he got almost big. It's before his music got more mainstream. So the next album is the break out album of Khaled, but not the mainstream album. It's when the music is still good, still weird, still exciting, not just like wedding music. And of course, it's produced on another scale. I think Martin Messonnier produced this next one with Safi Boutella. Martin Messonnier is a huge figure in the development of world music in Europe and music also. He created a TV show called Tracks that most French people from the 90s and German also. That show introduced mainstream audience to so much weird shit in a very cool, effective way. But he was a music producer first, and he got Khaled to get where he got later. And this is a hit. This is Sheba on the Kutouche. Kouché. Yeah, Kouché. Cheb Khaled, Safi Boutella. This I adore. There's a bridge I don't like in the song now, but it's still okay. So this had a music video, and it's pretty good. So Sheba is like a young woman, a maiden. This is killer. Yeah, he's got a very distinctive voice and tone. Now we're gonna get soon into other high singers. Hey Alex. And by the way, all these records are still, for the most part, dirt cheap. Like, I never paid more than like $20 for a high record. Hey Ron. So this is when Rai starts to get almost Western, like, as you can hear the guitar, the electric guitar. This is when it's starting to try to cross over or to get global. And Algerian music mean, it's music of people who travel for the most part, so it's quite logical that it would go through all these shifts in aesthetics and instrumentation. Play next a song from a compilation which still has Khaled, but Khaled with Miloud, and this is maybe my favorite, one of my two favorite high songs. This is on a fairly easy to get compilation called The Desert Songs, and it's got at least two killer songs. History of rhyme music. So this is Kubu Kubu. This is so hard, and the groove there. So bizarre and so funky. Again, these guys, they're not traditionalists, but they come from a tradition, and they learned the craft of playing when they were like 12, 13, 15 at private parties, weddings, but getting bigger, they got influenced by the West, obviously. Khaled. Miloud. Next is a compilation from the guy who was the main producer of High throughout the 80s, which is Rashid Baba, Pop High and Rashid Style. High Rebels Volume 2. Rashid Baba was a producer who had a studio in Barbès in Paris, northern Paris. And most of the instrumentation was Western. He had drum machines, synthesizers, electric bass and guitar. And most of the North African singers, when they wanted to try to get into the European market, they went to Rashid Baba, who produced most of them or recorded them. And yeah, he's a very important figure to Rai. A lot of Rai has kind of underlying reggae influence. This is almost bubblegum pop. Dirt cheap record again. I love how there's this fast-paced tempo, and the singing and the strokes, the synthetic strokes, are kind of like very ample on a very different tempo. Really cool. This is Rye Rebels Volume 2. Now, Rye Rebels Volume 1. With probably my favorite high musicians outside of Khaled, which is Wari Ben Shenet. Fouguer Ramla.
واحد زاهي مع غزالو واحد يحكي في فعالو واحد كيفي يبكي ويزيد.
This is really beautiful. I believe there is a US pressing of this for some reason. This is so good. Very different voice, very different flow. Ashbaba, Khaled. And next, another compilation, the Disco d'Or du Rail, the golden record of Rail, which features insanely good songs by Khaled, Shab Sharawi, Fadela, but also my favorite Rail song ever, which is by Ben Shenet Wari, same guy, and it's called Malika. I have this on cassette as well. This is really special. Also very interesting rhythm, quite dark music. Production on this. something way bigger than I had imagined. I've been working on a remix of that for quite some time. It's very strange rhythm patterns. But even if we listen to Zawina with Khaled a little bit, Zawanya, most of all of this has been pretty male-centered, and Rai is as much woman as men. And there's usually quite a different kind of style with women doing Rai. And so here's Fadela's album called I believe it's Fadela, which is a compilation of some of her best work. This even had a single that came out on Factory Benelux probably, but yeah. And we're gonna listen to the song that was on that single right now. This is so good. Fadela. Nebki Wadi. Of course, all the instruments and electronics, Rashid Baba. And I guess that when I got interested in the high and discovered a new entry point to it, it felt like discovering a secret. But I guess it was zeitgeist, because at the very same time, approximately, some other people have been starting to champion high music, and there's even a new Rai music coming out on vinyl, and some archival recordings of Rai, which is what we're gonna listen next and finish the stream with. Hossein Chaoui on Outre-National Records, a French label. Great package. It's a legendary album by Hossein Chaoui. Finally reissued on LP for the first time. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Anyways, this label has just issued 3 albums of Shabasni, 3 volumes, 3 different LPs of his music, and that I have pre-ordered. And there's another female high singer, an album she did like, I believe, like 5 years ago. It's getting issued on vinyl. I pre-ordered it as well, and it doesn't sound that different from that. So there is kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily a resurgence of high, but like a renewed appreciation. Like for years, people had this idea that high was this 90s phenomenon of like mainstream, like cheerful music. Really bad, to be honest. But when you go back to the roots and you find this is so interesting. Thank you, John. And to think that this was a single, like a 12-inch single, or maybe even a 7-inch. This is quite dark. It's pretty cool to hear like the electric guitar played almost like a fiddle. So yeah, let's end it with Osin Shawi, Ueshesma. Osin Shawi is really heavy into drum machines. Very unique as well. It's like the jump style of High. There was an insert with the Fadela, Shabbat Fadela. So this was released last year. Yeah, I believe in the fall. Here you get like inner sleeve has some cassette release artwork, a showcase. Cassette album available now in digital, Oriental Music Productions. With the hand of Fatima. And the Shabasni releases that were just released, they really got like a heavy, like a reggae feeling as well. It's kind of like this, but reggae at the same time. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, or at least found it a little bit interesting. It's just a humble little intro to Rai, which by no way I am a specialist on, but I've been digging pretty heavy the past 4 years, and I thought it would be like an opportunity to show my new Grail, 10 different high records that you can probably still find, more or less, apart from the first one. And most of these records are really cheap. And cheap, but in the good way. So, I guess I might be doing series of different styles of Arabic or Oriental influenced musics. I did a Muslim Goes video, but I think I'm gonna do a new one playing some of the music, and I'll do at least 3 different others, I think, that showcase different sides of Arabic music. Ah, great, Luca. The first one or the second one? First one is the one to get, but both, they're so cheap. Hello MZ, hello Eric, hello Jeffrey, hello Alex, John, everyone who stopped by. This will be a video that I will keep on my channel, and leave a comment if you like this. Leave a comment if you want more details, or if you want to introduce me to something in that field that might be interesting to me. So until the next time, I hope you guys have a great evening, day, whenever you're seeing this, and good night.